So that was color stop 6 that tacked down your glitter vinyl. We're now going to peel up our tape. Steps 7 and 8 are straight design embroidery. You're not going to have to worry about taping or placing or moving or doing anything bizarre or weird. There are only 2 colors for the Ravenclaw bag. One is a Temple Gold and one is straight black. So peel off your tape because your design on this bag is going to go right over here. And have I mentioned how much I hate the glitter vinyl because it is so sticky? Wow. I promise you I did not use super glue. Alright, this seam right here will not show on your bag. When we do color stop 7, a 4.5 millimeter wide satin stitch is going to cover your gap. It's also going to secure the 2 pieces of vinyl to each other, and it's going to secure it to your cutaway. That's why we're using cutaway instead of tearaway, to give this seam between the 2 types of vinyl a little bit of foundation so it doesn't want to flex, pull, or rip apart. One of these days you'll see me do this perfectly. Obviously it's not today. So cut my jumps while I have a chance. Any of my tails that showed up, there's that little piece of tape I want to get rid of. Now, I'm not going to show you each color step in the design. I'm going to go ahead and do color stop 7 and 8, and we'll be back at 9. See you in a few. Okay, next step, we're going to trim our jumps. Oh, look. Good digitizing. Only 1 jump. I joke. Okay, this is where my bags go a little different from everybody else's, because once the bag is together, you've got all of this raw stitching on the inside, and it will catch on whatever is in the bag. So to cover this up without doing a full lined bag, because ain't nobody got time for that, I take a piece of regular old felt. And it doesn't matter about placement, left, right, or bottom, but on the top, you want your top of your felt right along the top zipper stitch. See that one right there? Boom. Right like that. We're going to have to trim that out a little bit. Oh, look, more tape. But you want to be able to cut right along the stitch line. So secure it on the back of your work. Secure it on the back of your work and pop it back into the machine. Okay, so you can see on the top stitching, we've secured the felt. Okay, next we have to move our zipper. So you want to slide your zipper so that it's at least 1 full finger from this line. Okay. The design has been digitized so that your needle head will not go across here to keep you from jamming up or snapping your needle. This is a simple triangle or single stitch on a triangle pattern. It's going to tack right here. I've forced the head to move here and do a single 1 stitch and then tack here. That's giving you die lines for cutting in the back, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, so you can see I did a single stitch here, single line stitch here, a single stitch here, and then a single line stitch over here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut away these big giant jumps. And then we're going to flip over in the back and cut away any of the little nasties. Okay. Now we're going to trim our zipper. You're going to need a pair of really old but sharp scissors. Oops. All right, do not use any good scissors because you're cutting across this zipper. So just trim it an appropriate amount. The other thing is, my bag's, again, a little different. we're going to tuck this ribbon, which has a tendency to fray, and we're going to cut off some of these teeth because they cause the top of the bag to bow out. So if you cut just gently right along, you just want to cut the teeth. You want to leave yourself some ribbon. I know, easier said than done. Hold on, we need a different pair of scissors. There they are. Okay, you're going to come over here and do the same thing to this side. Cut right along the teeth, right up to the stitch line. You'll notice this looks a little awkward. Usually this part is done with me sitting down and the work in my lap, but I figured you guys didn't want 3 minutes of crotch shot, so we're having to do it this way. Okay, now remember I said that there was a stitch, this whole purpose was a stitch line. We're going to flip it over, and you can see the stitch line right there and right there, except I used block bobbin so that you can't see it. We're going to trim away our felt from the top. Just a regular old applique cut. Please don't let my head be in this shot. Okay? Then we're going to take a seam ripper and on this side we'll pull back the vinyl and the zipper ribbon, and we'll find that line and we'll start a rip right there, going all the way to your gross grain ribbon. Keep your vinyl pulled back and stuff your tails, your zipper tails, through the hole you just made. Come around and do it on this side. Grab your zipper tails, pull them back, use your seam ripper, rip a little bit of a hole, just a little one, and tuck your tails in. Flip over. I cross my tails to act as a zipper stop. Tape it down. I know. Trying to get you to buy tape. Come over here, cross your tails, tape them down. We're going to throw it back in the machine. It's going to do a bean stitch to hold your tails in place, and then we'll trim. Back in a second. Okay, super easy. Again, trim your big giant jumps. We're going to flip over. We're going to take our tape off, and we are going to trim our zipper tails close. Not super close, but close enough. Okay? There we go. Now, this is very important. We are about to put the back on the bag, and since this is a turned bag, we're not going to be putting it here, we're going to be putting it here, which means we're going to lose access to our zipper. So we need to open our zipper, not all the way, but to about 1 finger width from the end, and you want to tape, I know, I have a tape fetish, what can I say? You want to tape this down so that once we get it all done, you can reach in from the back and slide it all the way open to make turning easier. So I'm going to tape it down and out of the way. Also, if we leave our lobster claw right here, then when we turn our bag, it'll be on the inside. So we need to take a pair of scissors and we need to trim to about 1/8 of an inch from that line. Cut away the excess vinyl because you really don't want your machine sewing all that much vinyl. Then we're going to fold our lobster claw to the what will be the outside of the bag. And again, because it's metal and I don't trust metal around my machine, we're going to secure it in place just like that. Let's see. I think we're ready for the next to the last step. This will be the back of the bag, so eventually we want it like this, which means we have to put it like this. Okay? And you're going, oh God, she's going to tape again. Sure, why not? You don't have to do this step. You don't have to tape. Unless you're sewing in a Cat 5 Hurricane or on the deck of the Titanic, this part is redundant. Just lay it on top and let it go. If you look at your machine right now, you'll see that there are 2 color stops left. The blue, which is going to be a bean stitch, a double bean stitch all the way around the bag, and then a red step, I'm sorry, it's the red step that's a double, and then a black step that's going to be a 1-inch single stitch right here. That's a positioning stitch. You don't do the very last stitch. That keeps your head from traveling to the middle of your work and going ding ding, I'm done, because if it travels from right here across the middle of your work, it's going to hit that lobster claw and it's going to catch and it's going to jam. All right, so I'm going to go throw this in and we're almost done, I promise. Woohoo, we're all done. So I'm going to take my tape off. I'm going to flip it over. Okay, I am going to grab my seam ripper again. I love my seam ripper. And I'm going to find the opening. And I do this all still in the hoop so that the work has tension on it and I'm not fighting against a floppy bag. I'm going to run a pair of scissors carefully, because remember, we don't want to cut any of our vinyl or our zipper. And I'm going to trim away the cutaway, thus the name. And if you clean up that felt line a little bit, that's awesome too. Oops. I have no idea where the camera's focused. Obviously, I am not a professional. So you can go ahead and try this at home. Alright, there we go. Don't worry about trimming this out because we're about to trim the whole bag. We've got our zipper open. We're going to pop it out of our hoop. Voila. I like using my ruler and my roto cutter for trimming the bag. I usually trim about 1/8 of an inch. And that's not an awkward position at all. Okay. Trim about 1/8 of an inch, and it's going to be fun doing this one because your lobster claw's here. So a little trick is grab a different ruler, line it up to the 1/8 of an inch, and then down here, so that you're off the lobster claw on the zipper, trim from this side. Boom. Repeat. This has got to be one of the most fascinating videos in the world. You're watching me peel tape and cut vinyl. Woo! Y'all need a hobby. Oh, wait a minute. That's how you got here, isn't it? I was about to do something very bad. 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch. And now because these are not wanting to cut through, I need to put a new blade on my roto cutter. Yeah, I do. Alright, so these are rounded corners, so you're going to need to clip your curves. Anybody who's done any seamstress work, done any stuffies, done anything like that, knows the joy of clipping curves. And probably knows how to do it way better than me doing it at an awkward angle, trying to keep my head out of the camera's view. Oops. Also, there's a tape line put there to remind me where the camera's shooting, and I keep ignoring the tape line. This is why I am not a movie star. Really, guys, trust me, I'm better at this than it looks. Okay. Those are some ugly clips, but we'll pretend that I did a good job, okay? So, we're going to take our tape off the zipper on the inside. We're going to open our zipper a little bit more. So, turning. I find that if you put your finger down into the corner, and then use your thumb, you can press that corner out. Then you come to the other bottom corner, put your finger in the corner, press with your thumb, turn, turn, turn. You come up and do the similar up top, all along the edge, all along the edge, and then you take a pokey bit. You don't want anything sharp because you don't want to punch through your vinyl. You make sure that your corners are nice and poked out. Poke, poke. The joy of stabbing things. Okay, you remove your tape. Yeah, looks like I missed a jump. Roll your seams. As you're rolling, make sure that you don't have any threads or jumps hanging out. Roll your seams. Roll your seams. And there we go. Voila! Ravenclaw House Crest zipper bag with printed vinyl. Thank you!